Hello. Hello, and welcome to the Purple Portal. And your reluctant mystic who's giving this program, Elaine Bartlett. As you could imagine, with a name like the Purple Portal, today is an ideal new beginning day. Matter of fact, for a program coming to you from the Space Coast, I consider this a liftoff. This is a first cosmic radio program, I believe, of its type from the Space Coast. So together we're going to lift off, and you're going to hear some insights, information, revelations that come to you from a background that is enormous in my case, as well as my attempt to bring you information from cosmic realms. Today actually is considered in the galactic calendar a galactic portal, which is why I chose this day at this time to begin the first show. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this, and your calls are welcome. And if you'd like to call in, you can do that. I actually have a number for you, which I'll give you in a moment because I don't know where the heck I put it. But we're going to be friends here. We're going to learn to laugh together, have fun together, which is why you get to call in and go, what the heck? What does that mean? So here is the number. It's 321-806-3159. I'm going to give that again, 321-806-3159. And before we get too far, I'm going to share a little bit about who the heck I am. Well, I thought about this long and hard because for many years as I've been teaching and lecturing across the United States, that has always been one of the most challenging questions. It's kind of like coming up with an elevator speech. I think we've all grown far beyond elevator speeches. We are limitless and we are boundless. So to lock us into a few words of who we are and getting in and off and out of that elevator makes little or no sense to me. So here's a little bit of what kind of being I am. Just like so many of you, I am a wanderer and a wonderer. And I suspect it's the wondering part that led me to wander, and it's the wondering part that has led me on a journey of really over 45 years to discover who am I? And that's the keynote for all of us these days. Who are you? And if you think you're a label, think again, because you are far grander than any label I could figure out. But some of the labels that people have pinned on me over the years, I'm a daughter. Some of you have been daughters and sons, or you wouldn't actually be in a body right now. I'm a sister. I've been a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm a friend. I'm a neighbor. I'm a storyteller. As an astrologer, both Western and Vedic, ancient systems, newer systems, I'm a star reader. Matter of fact, just like you, I'm a speck of stardust. I'm a gentle whisperer. I'm also a reluctant mystic. What does that reluctant mystic actually refer to? Well, it refers to my time of dabbling in the ancient and profound and very accurate discipline of numerology. In numerology, a certain number, the number 7 in my case, keeps popping up. And that 7 is a mystic. Why do I refer to myself as the reluctant mystic? Well, for years and years and years, I kind of whined to the universe. I'd like a normal 9 to 5, 2.5 kids, picket fence, dog kind of life. None of that ever happened. So finally, after a great number of years, I gave up whining and owned the fact that this great gift of being a mystic can relate to almost all circumstances, all people. It's inclusive, it's embraceable, and it brought me into many areas of life where I could actually embrace first myself and then you. Because I'm a watcher and a listener, and from what I see and hear, we've pretty much all forgotten just how embraceable and lovable we are. We're mired in guilt and shame and poor choices and criticism, our own criticisms and others' criticisms. So it's been a long journey of finding that lovable place. And the irony is, this planet, believe it or not, as you look around, and I say that with great chagrin, you and I came to this planet to not only learn to love, but to see love in one another and to become the essence of it. And that's called third dimensional density. And many people are trying to get out of that lesson these days, and they don't own it, and they surely don't want to see that they are lovable. Most of us have been told not only are we not lovable, you're not worthy. I grew up under a discipline that we actually beat our chest on Sunday mornings saying, I am not worthy. I was thinking about that this morning, getting ready for this show, and thinking, how depressing is that? How dangerous? How dare they reduce us to worthlessness? When you are not worthy, you shut down one of your chakras. You shut down your pineal gland. And that darn pituitary gland, which is aligned right up in there with it, also takes a hit. Look it. It's bad enough that by using, you're not going to believe this one, but by using toothpaste with fluoride and bringing fluoride in your water, you also shut down those two glands. Now you might say, oh, what the heck? Who needs them anyway? Well, number one, it's very simple. If you weren't to use them, they wouldn't have been there in the first place. The great bosses would not have created us in such a manner. But by having those sacred glands, and they are sacred, it was to further connect you with your sense of worthiness, with your sense of essence and light and love that you actually are. So you could imagine this reluctant mystic takes many deep sighs because my training has been so extensive and because I am a watcher and a listener. The deep sighs are profound. I sigh for myself and I sigh for each of us with a sense of, could you now wake up? Would you want to wake up? It's a gift to wake up, actually, and you actually have to qualify for the gift. In the old days, meaning a couple of years ago, I would get very anxiety-ridden with people like, wake up, keep up, come on, get on the pony, let's go. Until I finally learned enough to realize, well, that's kind of obnoxious. It's a grace and a gift to wake up. So how exactly do you possibly qualify for it? Well, it's a discipline, And I know that's an uncomfortable word for most of us. But the discipline involves you doing you. You learning to love you to the utmost. That's the first discipline. It's the biggest discipline. That means taking care of your body, certainly first and foremost, because it's a sacred temple. It's certainly despised often. I know we women, we seem to have a corner on looking in a mirror and absolutely just despising what we see at any age and at any stage. I can remember back in my 20s when, as I look back now, I think, dang, I looked pretty darn good. And thinking as I looked in the mirror at those times, oh my golly, this is wrong and that's wrong. It didn't get any better in the 30s and the 40s. And when you're supposed to be blossoming as a mature, beautiful woman, holy smokes, that's when the world turns against you and start using the old word and totally dismissing you. Well, the more we learn to step into that beauty that we are, and I don't care what you actually look on the outside, because soon more and more of us will be trained to pretty much look right through that and see the real essence, the truth of you, the magnificence of you, the radiant gods and goddesses of each of you. Now, that's going to take a generous heart. And another deep sigh, a lot of people don't have a generous heart as far as seeing the magnificence of each other. A number of years ago, I was doing a whole ton of personal consultations for people. And I remember I was living down in Boca Raton, Florida, and I remember a woman that I had never met called in. Somebody had recommended her, and apparently I came with flying colors. But I could hear she had a chip on her shoulder. I could also hear in her something about her accent told me that she was a different race than I am. Well, of course, the humor is, I'd like to ask now, what exactly race is that? Because I kind of thought we were all one race, the human race. So if your skin tone is a little deeper or darker or a different color than mine, well, duh, it's because you were born in a different portion of this globe, and the different conditions gave a different texture, tone, and coloring. But nonetheless, this gal with a little chip on her shoulder started to say that she was very, very adamant and almost belligerent in the fact that she was of the black race. And I let her belligerence air itself for a few minutes, and I said, I beg to differ with you. You're not black. Oh, and that triggered something. She became more belligerent. And I said, from what I can see of all of your charts that I've prepared and your number pattern, you're anything but black. However, you are purple. And that stopped her. And she said, what do you mean I'm purple? I said, well, purple is the highest frequency there is. And it's a magnificent frequency. It allows you full expression in your creativity. It allows you to go to dimensions and places that most people aren't ready for. Well, everything dropped away from her. We became very, very dear friends, and to this day, we laugh because I'm not white, she's not black, but hopefully we all get to be a color